Welcome back to the show, fellow listeners. This is the All Things Wrestling Podcast. I'm Ernie, and Michael is out with family business. So this is basically going to be another one of those solo episodes that I usually do, which means another story time, baby. So last episode, I believe it was episode 11, titled "My Origin Story," or Origins, I guess. I called it something. I told you the story of my younger self discovering wrestling and how it changed my life, from being bullied at school to discovering new friends in elementary that shared the same love as me. Well, by the time I was making it a habit to wake up on Saturday mornings, just watch superstars and my favorite cartoon shows, what I didn't expect was to get grounded because I was watching Glow. Yes, you heard right. Glow. The gorgeous ladies of wrestling. Now, I'm not going to say I was attracted to these ladies. I was 9 years old, 10, 9 going on 10. But it was hilarious watching a bunch of women try to wrestle after I watched actual professional wrestling. And they were, if you know the story of Glow, you would understand. They weren't professional. They were just a bunch of models doing moves, doing, moves that could really hurt them. But luckily they had a trainer, one of the greatest families ever. I believe it was Mondo Guerrero, family of Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero, who was, um, doing stuff with them, training them, and all that stuff. Well, later on. But watching Glow was just an experience because it was fun. It was new. But it was also hilarious. And the day I got grounded was the day one of them had to be sensual and erotic in a little promo. Like I'm sitting there like, oh, okay. Not that I was getting turned on by this. I was just, wow, hey, who is this? Looking back at it now, it wasn't even that bad at all. It was, for those wondering who it was Godiva. Uh, yeah, it was Godiva. I was watching it. I was just sitting there watching it, and she just starts getting all sexual about it. And I'm just like, this is new. Why is she? Oh no, she's reading letters. What? And then my mom walks through the door into my room while I'm watching this. And next thing you know, I'm banned from watching. Let me put it in quotations. And I'm doing the air quotes right now. This kind of filth in this house. I was grounded. I took it. My mom and stepdad didn't know I was watching Superstars either, but during that hour, I would go to my friend's house next door and try to watch it there. It was at this time they introduced me to their action figures and comic books. Oh, yeah, man. Those were the days. I was such a little kid. I freaking was on La La Land as soon as I saw comic books, as soon as I saw action figures. Yeah, those guys were such bad influence on me, I swear. But seriously, I was into that. I was getting into these comic books that I didn't want to go home, but I had to. So they let me borrow these Batman and Superman books. Took them home. And while I was reading them, my stepfather did a double take on that and asked where I got those books from. And I told him from next door. He disappeared for a few and came back with crates. I'm talking about put one crate aside, go to the bedroom, grab another crate and another crate. And I'm just like, wow. Talking maybe 4 crates of comic books, ranging from Justice League, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Titans, Suicide Squad, and possibly more. I don't remember there being Marvel books. Probably because I wasn't. It's like seriously, I didn't get into Marvel until like 1993 or so, and I didn't know anything about Marvel until 1993. Well, not exactly. I didn't know it was a separate brand. Basically, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember any Marvel books in those crates at all, so I didn't know any of these other characters until I got a bit older. Is what I'm trying to say. So I get grounded from watching wrestling for a bit. And instead of making such a big deal about it, that I ended up reading all these books and playing with my own action figures, I was caught up in these books and stories that I forgot a little about wrestling. So the following few weeks at school, I get updated on what was going on, but at the same time, I meet new friends who are into comic books, and they introduce me to the X-Men. Yes, I was introduced to Professor Xavier, Wolverine, Cyclops, all of them. Even back then, you had to pick a side, either DC or Marvel. I chose to read both because I didn't know any better. I just was not into that kind of thing. Didn't know the difference. I was reading books that I enjoyed, basically. Did I lose everyone yet? Are you asking yourself, Ernie, what does comic books have to do with a wrestling podcast? Well, it goes hand in hand. You have the good guys and you have the bad guys. Although I was amazed by one of the bad guys and cheering for him, I didn't truly understand it until I got the comic books. Good versus evil. How do you think Hogan got his name Hulk? But I didn't correlate it to that. I was reading DC at the time, so I got on the Superman is the best superhero on all of history train. Yeah, we all know that train. I would watch Adventures of Superman, the old black and white George Reeves TV show, which was on the syndication. He was also on an episode of I Love Lucy, and I was into that. And then I got to watch the movies with Christopher Reeves, and I would get into that as well. I was a big superhero mark, a big Superman mark as well. Just everything he did is like, oh, Superman, yeah, you know, pretend to fly. I was 9 years old at the time. I didn't know any better. That's just going to be my excuse from now on. I was 9 years old, didn't know. Okay, so if you're an old school fan like myself and my co host Michael, because we talk about age in this podcast every chance we get, we just bring up 90s, we just bring up 80s. We don't tell you how old we are, but we bring it up. You will probably know the next part or at some point heard about it, but it will trigger your memory core and say, I remember those. So if you were a child of the 90s, you might have heard about wrestling buddies. Still there? Did I trigger something in your inside out memory core? Okay, for the new generation or for those that don't know and are probably Googling this at the moment, I can just hear you typing. Wrestling buddies were these pillow looking wrestling characters. They basically were pillows. There's no doubt about it. They made it seem like, yeah, you get to hold on to them and fight them. No, they were pillows. They were soft. They didn't do anything much but cushion or anything with it. No, like soft pillows. And I got to sleep with mine after a long day of beating it up. Because that's what we all did with those wrestling buddies pillows. We beat them up. In our house, we had two of them. We had Hulk Hogan, the WWF champion at the time, and the Intercontinental champion, the Ultimate Warrior. We also had a marble Green Hulk one as well, and I swear my mom sent me a picture of our family back in the 90s and me posing with one of them, and I kid you not, it's there. I remember it. It's not a Mandela effect. It really happened. They were extremely fun, all three of them. As a kid, that was bullied all of his life. I said in my last episode, yeah, Origins, I would always take it out on the wrestling buddies Or my brother and I would have tag team matches with each other or against each other with the buddies as our opponents or our tag team partners. We had imaginations, guys. It's what kids do. It's what kids did at the time, especially those with wrestling buddies. At the time, I didn't know how to fight, and my mom paid a lot of money to put me in a karate class just so I could get on top of the couch and decide to jump and give the wrestling buddies a Macho Man elbow drop. Yeah, that didn't go so well. Like, my mom came through, crashing through the freaking door, saying, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I remember that. They're not that soft, too. Just like me crashing onto the floor. Oh, I may have sprained a few things back then as well. And, I'm paying for it now. Jeez. So when I wasn't playing and fighting with the wrestling buddies, I would be playing with the toys that I already had. Basically, you know, um, little toys. Still can't watch wrestling because of Glow. Okay, I'm not gonna blame it on Glow all this time, but still, Glow was fun. If you haven't already, check out Netflix before they take it away because they've canceled it. You know how the Netflix loves to cancel stuff. But watch Glow season 1 through 3. Pretty awesome. Or watch the documentary of Glow. That's pretty awesome movie as well. And it like brought me back to when I was a child and like watching all these, especially one Tina Ferrari, who everybody knows is Ivory, WWE Women's Champion, former WWE Women's Champion, Ivory. So I still can't watch wrestling because of Glow. So I had to entertain myself. Um, Let me introduce you to the Toys Wrestling Federation. Okay, so here's the lineup, or I guess we could call it the roster. My stepdad would buy these toys, and of course, they were awesome collectibles. And what do young kids do with awesome collectibles? They unknowingly take them out the box and start playing with them. Yes. No. Well, too bad. So sad. Sorry it happened, but it needed to happen. I didn't know any better. I didn't know at the time they would be worth freaking money. So took it out of the box, threw the box away, ripped it in half. Like, we don't need this anymore. Crunch, 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 crunch. Hey, little person that's there that just came out of a box, watching Toy Story now and thinking about what I did back then. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. So here's the roster. Okay. Let me know if you know any of them. If not, look it up here in your computer. Right. There's the Master of the Universe line. Um, there was a Prince Adam, which I know it was a pain in the ass and a rare figure, but I have pictures. I had one. I posed with one. I made sure to look, camera. I have Prince Adams right here in my hand. He's his alternate ego person. This He-Man, obviously. I had him, Prince Adam. I had He-Man. I had Man at Arms. I had a bunch of the villain characters. Skeletor, obviously. Evil Lyn, Tila, and the Battle Cat. All those stuff. Like, I had them. So there's a bunch of those. Um, there was the Thundercats. Lionel. Oh, yes, I was a big Thundercats freaking fan. That was my fandom. If it wasn't Master of the Universe, the He-Man line, I would get the Thundercats. I would have a Thundercats poster, collect um collectibles. I would watch all the episodes. I even know about the unaired pilot. Nobody talks about the Thundercats unaired pilot. You know why they don't talk about the Thundercats unaired pilot? We could go on another podcast for this. But seriously, the unaired pilot would not, it would be canceled today. The unaired pilot, well, it aired in syndication, but the unaired original pilot had them naked. They were naked Thundercats. Chitara. That's the first thing you go to? Yeah, it's the first thing I went through also. And then bottom, and mostly it was mostly men, right? So you would think like, dude, cover that up. No, it was a bunch of cats. It was a bunch of man cats, with the exception of Shitara and who's the female version, Whitey Kid or Whitey Cat. Let me know. All right, so I had every one of them. I had all of them. I had Tigra, I had Lionel, I had Bantro, Shitara, Whitey Kid, Whitey Cat. I had the villains, Mumra. I had the other villains. Okay, so there's the other ones. Master of the Universe, Thundercats. I had G.I. Joe. Smaller things of G.I. Joe. Of course, I owned the movie, but that was 2 years later. And then I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all of them. I had some Star Wars because my stepdad was a big, massive Star Wars fan. Nerd. Yeah, so was I. He made us into nerds. It's all because of him. I blame him. I blame him for half of my life. But whatever. Um, DC, Batman, Superman, Robin, Catwoman, all of them. A bunch of villains from that too. And I think there were some dolls in there that were left over from my sisters, which I used as valets, with the exception of Shatara, Evil Lyn, or Tila, and Wily Kit. Wily Cat? Again, I'm confused. Those would face each other or the man of, or have love interest. Because, that's what they all do now, right? The Toys Wrestling Federation had everything except for championship belts. I never had a championship belt for them. So instead of belts, the biggest prize would be He-Man's sword. Because whoever wields that sword is the TWF champion. Or the Rule of Eternia has its perks. Because He-Man would always win. Or I would have Tigra from the Thundercats beat him. He was my favorite. It wasn't Lionel, even though it should have been. It was always Tigra. I always had like Tigra go over someone else. Tigra go over He-Man. Tigra go over Pantro. And then Pantro and Tigra would team up. Or Pantro would betray Tigra. Ooh, I remember that. Just remembering that is just like, wow, can't believe I did that. And I would always have a tournament before I started playing. Because you always needed to have a battle royal in wrestling to start a show anywhere. I would always have a tournament. Like, okay, so who's facing my champion this week? Mix the toys around and get them from the bucket without looking and place them in brackets. So Tiger would go, let's just say I had Tiger first. Tiger would go first. Go reach in there, grab it. Another one. Batman, hey, Batman face Tigra. Reach in there. I didn't. So math wasn't really my strong suit, but once I got into stacking the tournament, I realized, okay, so it has to be 8, it has to be 16, 32 and all that stuff. So that's probably why I practice math. Um, yeah. If I wanted a tag team, always get Wily Kid and Wily Cat to face Batman and Robin, or Batman and Superman, or Joker and Two Face. Usually, it's what I had in who I had, or I would do a lottery and just, all right, this week Wily Kid and Wily Cat is facing Skeletor and He-Man. Oh, what an awesome team! I think I may have had others also. I do remember a Roddy Piper flexible toy And the weirdest thing about that is you would put your thumb on that open slot, and that open slot was on his butt, and you would stick your it was yeah stick your finger in there and have it move. Like who does that? I still use them. I still freaking use them going around and around. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you down, all that. I would always be the commentator. I would have sound effects like, oh no, yeah, hey, whoa, hey, he's gonna do the what's it called, DDT or the pile driver. He did the pile driver on him, and he can't, and have these guys talking to the other guys. Stop talking about my wife. Too soon. I didn't know the lingo at the time. I just called it good guy or bad guy. My next door neighbor friend came over and saw me playing with toys. Here I was thinking I'm caught up, I'm going to be teased. Oh no. But he was cool about it. He went to go get his toys, and when I tell you I screamed, he had Marvel. This dude had the Hulk, Spider Man, Captain America, yellow and brown Wolverine. Yes. 1989 Batman movie toys, which, you know, sad that I couldn't go watch it. But hey, here he is bringing in 1989 Batman movie toys. We sat there and we would always wondered who could beat who in a fight. And we did that. We were biased and hitting each other's fingers and saying this would happen. We gave them storylines and backstories. Would Wolverine team up with Batman? Would Superman team up with Hulk? Would Superman team up with He-Man? Are they both the same person? Oh, no, they're not. Um, would the Thundercats have an alliance with Masters of the Universe? Hmm. Find out. I turned the good guys bad and the Skeletor into a good guy for a few days before I decided no, put him back as a bad guy, and have He-Man be the most powerful of all, that he is turned into a bad guy to get that championship sword back. Well, basically, that sounds familiar. Um, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. There it is. Yes, vivid imaginations, guys. Unfortunately, all that came to an end after the summer of 1990. No, I wasn't grounded again, although I did think I was because my mom took me to her native country. Not Mexico, even though that could have been a better idea to meet my father. Instead, she took me to Nicaragua, down south of Mexico. Yes, we're traveling over to Central America. So I'm going to end this right here because I want to talk about Central America and this country that I went into and not knowing any of my family members. I ended up staying for 2 years. So imagine being at a country that you don't know for half the year and your mom leaves you there because they asked you to. Like I didn't choose this, they did. I didn't want to stay, but my cousins wanted me to stay and my mom's family wanted to get to know me more. They're like, let him stay. He's fine. Nothing will happen to him. He'll be fine. If I knew now, if yeah, the whole that thing. Knowing now what I if I knew now what I if I knew then what I know now, basically. Yeah, I wouldn't have stayed. I yeah, there's no way. The downside of that is that I don't get to watch wrestling anymore. Well, not anymore. Next episode, we're going into Lucha Libre territory. I barely got to watch because they didn't have any English channels. It was all Spanish, guys. Like, if I didn't know enough Spanish already, I was going to learn more. And, but I did get to watch the legendary luchadores. Alright, so I'll see you next time. Hope you had an awesome week and enjoyed this episode. It may not have been long, it may not have been to your liking, but hey, it's there. I needed to say, added more to my origin story, add more to the reason I love wrestling. And this is one of them, having toys to wrestle with, even though I was grounded. Basically, titling this episode "Comic Books and Wrestling" because they go hand in hand. They do. If it wasn't for comic books, we wouldn't have Hulk Hogan, the greatest hero of all time in wrestling. We wouldn't have Macho Man Randy Savage as the king, Macho King Randy Savage, the biggest heel at the time and the biggest evil villain, basically, when he turned into an evil villain. Thank you for listening to the show. Michael will be back with us next time, discussing wrestling again. So, thank you for getting the opportunity to listen to me ramble on about wrestling and comic books. If I haven't told you yet, we have also joined the Nirvana Network, or TNN for short, which is a conglomerate of podcasts that promote each other's common interest, so give them a follow as well. Check out the link tree at linktree.com, the Nirvana Network, for more information on that. There's the All Queued Up podcast, which is two nerds watching internet streaming shows. They have new content every Friday. The Masterpiece Shitpiece Theater Show, they go live every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And the Nerds Have Spoken podcast, like-minded individuals who are dedicated to bring weekly entertainment and discussions of nerd culture, sports games collection, and so much more. If you have a YouTube account or rather watch your podcast on YouTube, check out the Coco Smith Showcase Collectible Show, the Sentinel Bay Review, and Tim K's Nerd Crate. All awesome video shows, so smash that subscribe button, guys. Follow us on Twitter at all_things_pod. Follow me on Twitter at $1 Million Geek. Listen to us on Spotify or Anchor at All Things Wrestling. Check us out on Facebook groups at All Things Wrestling with the same logo. Check us out on YouTube and smash that subscribe button. And follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram for more wrestling content. Thank you for supporting our content, giving us a listen. Until next time, see you all later.